Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where today we're just going to be doing another Leetcode easy, and today we're doing reverse vowels of a string. So I usually don't solve easies because they're just easy and there's like no point. They're pretty easy to understand once, but this one kind of caught my eye. It was kind of interesting because this isn't like your typical easy problem. So let's just get right into it. So you're given a string S, and it's saying reverse only all the vowels in the string and return it. So the vowels obviously are A, E, I, O, and U, and they can appear both in lowercase and uppercase, and they can also appear more than once. So let's just look at the example here. So you have ice cream, right? It's a string filled with upper and lowercase letters. And now we have to locate all the vowels. So they did that here. So the vowels in the string S and input are I, and then there's two E's because they can be duplicates, and then there's a uppercase A. So we've located all the vowels, and now we have to reverse their positions and return the new modified string. So we have I here, and that means like the first vowel here I and the last vowel here A would switch. So I would go in A's position, A would go in I's position, and then obviously the two E's would switch, but they're the same letter, so you can't really visualize that, but you understand what I'm saying. And you can see in the final output here, see A is the first now and I is the last vowel, and then the E's are just the same, but they did switch as well. So now that we've understood what the problem is asking us, now you have to think, how can we implement this in code? So the first solution people usually think of, what I thought of actually when I solved this problem, was the brute force solution, which is just you simply go loop through the entire array. Let me actually do some coding first. So you need to loop through the entire array once and locate all the vowels, right? So how can you do that quickly? So we can just make a set called vowels that stores all the vowels. So we can have all one lookups. So we can just check if each character is a vowel. So obviously we make a set with the string A, E, I, O, and U, all the vowels. But remember, they can appear both in lowercase and uppercase. So you have to take that into account. So you have to also have all of them in uppercase. So A, E, I, O, and U. So now we have our set with vowels. So now we loop through our string S, right, once, and then we check. So let's say the character we land on, if it is a vowel, then we can store it in another data structure. Let's say a stack here. I'll just say a stack. So now let's just visualize this. So we're looping through this right here. I is a vowel, so our stack will have I. Well, it's actually right here, matter of fact. So we have to write it, but yeah, you understand what I'm saying. So we just keep adding to the data structure, A, E, and A, into if we see vowels. So now we have all our vowels extracted from the string. Now we can do from here, we can do a second pass through the string. But here's the thing. We have to modify the letters in the string, the characters. We have to swap their positions, right, of the vowels. We can't do that in a string straight up because strings are immutable. So what we have to do here, actually, matter of fact, is we have to convert the string, or just make a list of characters as a string. So we can call it just characters, and we just convert string S into a list right here and store it in characters. So now this is just a character or a list of characters in the string because the string is immutable, and that way we could swap the positions of the vowels way easier. Like, it's actually possible. You can't do it in a string. We can actually swap the positions of the vowels, and then at the end we can just join them and return it. But we'll get to that later. But now we've done that, we've had the data structure here with all our vowels after the first pass. Now we have to do a second pass and simply loop through, and then if we land on a vowel, right, when we land a vowel, then we have to just pop from the end. That's what I'm saying. So we have to pop from the end and just replace that value with the end. So let me just visualize it here. So on our second pass, we're on I, right? That's a vowel. We look at the stack, top of the stack, what would it be? A. So we just pop that and replace the I with the A. So now we have this. And then we keep going, so on and so forth. We have E here. You would just replace that with E, pop that from the stack. That would become E again. And then E is a duplicate. So it would just become E. And now we're at A, right? We're at our last vowel. And then the only thing left in the stack is I. So then we just pop that and A becomes I. And then we just join the string and return it. And that is the brute force solution. We've done it. The problem is that isn't very space efficient because we're using a whole another data structure just to store our vowels here that we found right here. And there is a way to do this without having to use a whole nother data structure, and that is through two pointers. So let's start coding that up now and I'll explain it. So right now we have our set with vowels for quick lookups, right? To find or locate our vowels. We still need that. And we still need this, our list of characters, because strings are immutable. But now we're going to use two pointers here. So we'll have a left and right pointer, define those. One at 0, starting at the index 0, and then one at the end, at the vest -1. And then now, while the left pointer is less than the right pointer, because we don't want our pointers to cross. Now, what we're doing here is that we can just simply keep moving our pointers in until we hit vowels. So if our pointers are not on a vowel, then just keep moving them in until they both hit. And then simply we can just reverse their positions if they're both on vowels. So I'll show you when I code that up. So we can just do another while loop, nested while loops here. So while left is less than right, to make sure that's true. And the left pointer, so we'll start with the left pointer. The left pointer is not a vowel. The character at the left pointer is not in vowels, so that means it's not a vowel. Then we can just simply keep moving the left pointer in so we can land on a vowel, right? We have to move on. We have to ignore everything that's not a vowel. We don't care about that. So we'll do the same thing now, but with the right pointer here. So while the character on the right pointer is not a vowel, not in vowels, or set, then we can just move the right pointer inwards as well, -1. And then if we make it through, right, that means through all this, if we make it through all this, that means our pointers have finally landed on vowels, both of them. So now this is where the switching logic comes in. So now let's just explain that here. So now we're looping through, right? So our left pointer starts here and our right pointer starts here, and we keep moving them in. So the left pointer, I is a vowel, so we don't move that in. M isn't a vowel, so we move the right pointer in. So now the right pointer is on A. So now both our pointers are on vowels right now. And now simply all we have to do is swap their positions now. That's all we have to do. So now we just set the left pointer equal to the right pointer and the right pointer equal to the left pointer to overwrite their values and switch the positions effectively. So that's what we're going to do here. So the character at the left pointer and the character at the right pointer, right? Now we just switch them. So now the character at the left pointer now equals the character at the right pointer and vice versa. The character at the right pointer equals the character at the left pointer. So now that's our switching logic, and that should work every time. It's to switch the vowels effectively. Now, we can't forget, we have to update our pointers even after this. After the on vowels, we have to keep going inwards and do all the vowels, right? So we'll just increment this by 1 and decrement this by 1, moving them both inwards. So now after all of this, we still have a list of characters with the vowels reversed, right? So now we have to join them back up into one single string and return that, right? Because the output here is expected, the modified string right here. So we can just do that simply with a simple join, right? We'll join with no spaces, dot join of the list of characters. And now this should just return the string with the vowels reversed, right? So we run it. If I didn't make any mistakes in my code, yep, it should pass. Let's submit it. As you can see, it is a pretty efficient solution, and yeah, there you go.